It's the little things, Denzel. It's the little things. It's the little things that take what is a perfectly okay movie and turns it into a absolute fucking disaster. Hello and welcome to Fuck Your Opinion. This is a movie review show where I review movies. Like the little things. The little things, the little things. A movie you think, oh, little things, that sounds perfectly pleasant. Little things. Well, you know what? It's not. It's a serial killer thriller in which the serial killer is not the person you think it is. Spoiler alert, it's the cops. All the cops are the serial killers. Not They aren't the serial killer in the sense like, oh, this is LA Confidential. It's just a gang of serial killers. It's just they're the one killing people. And as far as we know, so again, I'm total spoiler right now. Not that you should see this movie. This is the most problematic and tone deaf movie I have seen in quite some time. And I am including Wonder Woman 84 and a lot of other movies in this category. But it's something where the filmmakers had to have known and take into account everything that's gone on in the past year. So we're talking about all the Black Lives Matters protests, all the police killings. It's not that any of this is new. It's just this is not the time or place. Just not the time or place for this kind of movie. Granted, it's kind of never the time or place to say, I'm a cop. This guy is pretty creepy. Pretty sure he did it. Pretty sure don't have any actual evidence. Evidence is not something I don't have any evidence. I just get this general creepy feeling, like the Steve Buscemi feeling off this guy. So like, he's probably the killer, right? Like, we're good to just off him, right? Just kill him, because I'm pretty sure he's the killer. What I am alluding to, folks, if you haven't seen this movie, is Jared Leto plays a quote-unquote serial killer, even though we never get any confirmation. And I'll get into him in a bit, but he is the supposed killer who Rami Malek, the detective, and Denzel Washington, he's the cop from up north who's not really a detective anymore. So they pal around. They are like, Jared Leto, he's the killer. He's the killer. Again, we have no proof, but he's the killer. And it culminates in Jared Leto driving Rami Malek up the highway, a little far up north of LA, and being like, oh, this is where I hid one of the bodies. It's got to be here. It's got to be here. And it's just fucking with him. And Jared Leto's just being a fucking moron about this. He's like, oh, aren't I so funny? I'm just fucking around with you and there's nothing you can do. Even though we're in the middle of the field. And, oh, guess what? When you give Rami Malek the shovel, what does he do when you get real close? Oh, he whacks you in the head and you die. So stupid move, Jared Leto. That's number one. And then number two, they're all like, this movie, I don't want to say completely goes, oh yeah, what the cops did is right. Totally good to just accidentally kill somebody, and go like, yo, like, let's brush it off to the side. We don't have to talk about it. Because also, Denzel's character actually does a similar thing in accidentally killing somebody, and they cover it up. So this movie is basically how the cops try and cover things up. And it's something where I feel like the director, if you had asked him about it, he would say, this is a complex movie. It's got a lot of intricate details. It's thought-provoking, yada, yada, yada. It's not really. I'm sorry. This is not a particularly deep movie. It's kind of trashy. It's kind of schlocky. Also, how did no one in Denzel's camp go, like, hey, Denzel, I know you like these kinds of, like, serial killer thriller movies or something like that, but like maybe we shouldn't make this one. Maybe we shouldn't do it. I don't want to get into it too much more. The point is, you picked maybe the worst possible ending for this movie. I don't know how nobody said, hey, maybe can we reshoot this? Can we, like, test screening said, maybe this is the worst ending we could possibly have. Can we do literally anything else? Anything. Okay, moving on. I want to say that we should revoke Rami Malek's Oscar. We should say, Rami, I know you just won this Oscar like a year or two ago, but you just made this movie. You just gave us that performance. So can we take it back? You shouldn't have it. Now I haven't seen Bohemian Rhapsody. Sorry, that's a lie. I watched like 25 minutes of it on a plane and said, this is not very good, and turned it off. So I can't really say if he gave a good performance or not. But let me tell you, this is like, yo guys, I won an Oscar, so I'm just gonna Cuba Gooding Jr. this and just phone it in. This is my Snow Dogs. Snow Dogs right here, Rami Malek. Get the paychecks. That's what you want to do, man. I think you're probably better than that, but I guess, it's Denzel. Also, Denzel, what are you doing, Denzel? You're better than this. You're fine in the movie. It's impossible for Denzel to give a bad performance. It's just like, why this movie? Did his agent not give him the last 20 pages of the script and he's like, Denzel, you should do this movie. It looks right up your alley. And Denzel's like, where's the last? I feel like this movie's missing an ending. The agent's like, nah, bro, it's all good. It's all good. They're reworking it. They'll figure it out. By the time you step on set, they'll have pages and it'll be great. I guarantee you. Another weird thing about this movie is that it is set in 1990. Now, presumably the reason why it's set in 1990 is because that's when John Lee Hancock, the writer-director, wrote it and intended to do it. And then years and years passed, and he said, okay, well, I'm doing it now in 2020. Well, 2021, whenever it was supposed to come out. But, okay, well, I'm doing it like 30 years after the fact. You know what? How about we just keep it 1990? That's a good idea, right? Why not? Why not? To which I say, you know what? I have no problems with you making a movie in 1990. That's fine. I like period pieces. It's also insane to say 1990 is 30 years ago. That's a crazy sentence. But if you're going to do any time period, 1990, 2000, 1980, whatever the fuck it is, make it of the time. Because there is so little references to the time periods in, whether it be in set decoration, whether it be like actual references, whatever. The only clue that you get that it's really 1990 is the fact that nobody's using a cell phone. And even then, it's not like characters in movies should be using cell phones all the time, so you don't really pick up onto it till later. At least I didn't. I literally thought, okay, so in the beginning, there's a scene with a girl who's running away from the killer. She runs away, and cut to next scene. And I'm like, okay, well, cut to present day, right? So this is an ongoing, like, Zodiac killer thing. This has been going on for decades, right? Oh boy, was I wrong. So then halfway through the movie, she comes to the police station, and I'm like, is this the same blonde girl? Am I going nuts? Am I crazy? This has got to be a different blonde girl because that was 30 years ago in 1990. What is going on? I was struggling to put the pieces together. Another absolutely unbelievable thing, and this is admittedly a small and petty thing, but In one scene, Denzel Washington is kind of chasing Jared Leto down the highway, just following him. Well, it's not a chase, he's just following him, right? And then Jared Leto pulls over and Denzel Washington goes forward past him, right? And Denzel's like, ooh, he's up to something. He's playing some games. So Denzel pulls off to the side of the highway and goes backwards for at least a quarter of a mile. I think probably longer. But this is broad daylight, presumably somewhere within a 20-mile radius of Los Angeles. I have never been on a California highway anywhere near Los Angeles where there were not other cars. Well, needless to say, that there was not traffic. Traffic is implied. Any time of the day, whether it be 5 p.m., whether it be 11 a.m., whether it be 3 a.m., there's going to be cars, there's going to be traffic. So how in the world can Denzel back up? There's no cars behind him. And then he just backs up like that. He would get hit. It's impossible. That's the most impossible thing of this movie. Him being able to back up on a fucking highway in broad daylight. It's crazy. Now I'm going to talk about the cream of the crop crazy of this movie. Well, not the cream of the crop, but just the fun crazy element of this movie, which is Jared Leto. Because he is just hamming it up 24/7. That's all he does. He's just gets a nice ham sandwich and, biting it all the way throughout the movie. Now that I think about it, not a ham sandwich. He's eating a roast beef sandwich. And the reason why I say roast beef is because, as the title implies, it's the little things. And as Denzel says, Jimmy, it's the little things that get you, the little things to watch out for. So there's a scene earlier in the movie where one of the girls that gets killed, Denzel's like, whoa, what was in her system when she died? And Rami Malek is like, roast beef. Roast beef was in her system. And we're like, okay, this is a clue. The killer eats roast beef, right? Well, 10 minutes later, when Denzel is really honing in on Jared Leto walks into his workplace and there's a big fucking sign outside, like the deli next door, that says, roast beef. Guys, we got roast beef. No other details. It's just one of those big chalk signs and it says, roast beef. Have you ever seen a sign that had, well, first of all, that was just advertising roast beef? I mean, do not get me wrong. I like roast beef. I have roast beef in my fridge. But am I going to necessarily advertise, guys, roast beef? We got some fucking roast beef here. No. And even if me as the deli owner is going to put roast beef on my chalk sign outside, it's not the premier signature item. It's like number 3 on the line item. So you have something else, number 1, something else in the middle, and then roast beef on the bottom. And again, that's not like a qualifier of like, I hate roast beef. I like roast beef, but if you're a deli, roast beef is implied. You should have it. Number 1 should be like a pastrami sandwich or corned beef or something like that. That would be a number 1. Number 2, I don't know. And then number 3 is, again, you just don't advertise. And the fact that there's nothing else on this thing, it's just roast beef. I don't understand. I do not understand why the guy just did not think, let me take advantage of my sign. Why not write multiple specials, multiple meals? Here's my number 1 combo. Here's the number 1 or number 2 combo that you can get, like chips and fries and all this kind of stuff. Nope, just roast fucking beef, guys. We got roast beef. You want something else? No sandwich for you. Like the soup Nazi in Seinfeld. No roast beef for you. God, it was stupid. But going back to Jared Leto, he's such a zany fucking. He's just the director basically said, "Hey Jared, can you like, in Spinal Tap when they say dial it up to 11, can you do that in just like a really creepy, weird kind of way?" And Jared Leto like, "I got you, I got you. Like you thought Jared Kushner was a creep? Well, I'm gonna I'm gonna be number one creep, Jared. That's my goal right here." And you know what? He did it. Part of it was his insane performance. Part of it was the crazy makeup and hair gelling he had. And part of it was that he had, so I'm sure you've seen pictures of him. He wears this jumpsuit, this work uniform jumpsuit the entire time. I'm talking he's driving around. He's getting food. He's getting his roast beef. He's living his life. He's going to fucking strip clubs all fucking day. Like 9 a.m. to like 7 in the night. Actually, yeah, we don't know when at night. So like 9 a.m. I'm going to the strip club and then I'm getting out at like midnight. All day in a fucking strip club wearing the jumpsuit when he's not even on work. He could easily have switched out, but he's like, fuck it. This is the only clothing I own. I do not own a single. I don't own a shirt. I don't own pants. I just got this one fucking jumpsuit, and I want everyone to know this is me. I'm expressing my true self through this fucking jumpsuit. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Huh? And I was also like, because he spends multiple days, all day at strip clubs, and no clarification. And I'm just thinking to myself, how much money? Because the thing is, you gotta realize this guy, he's a lot like an electrician or something like that. But it's not like this guy's a fucking high roller. So to be able to spend all day in a fucking strip club, I mean, what are you doing? What are you doing there? Are you like hiding in the corner, and then like are you one of those jerk offs who is just like hiding in the corner and is like, I know these ladies are dancing for me, but I'll keep the ones in my pocket. Thank you very much. Cuz you know, but daddy's got to eat a roast beef sandwich today and I cannot afford. I like to look, but I can't afford. I can only afford to get in here and to eat my roast beef sandwich. Does he eat his roast beef sandwich in there? Does he go to the? Imagine, I kind of wish they had done this because we don't ever see inside the strip club, so I can only imagine Jared Leto in this workman's uniform going into a strip club, then taking out the roast beef sandwich and just eating it. And the ladies are like, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm eating my sandwich. And they're like, in a strip club? What are you doing here? What are you doing here? I don't know, guys. It's now there. I will admit there were things I did like about this movie. I liked Frank Sabatka from The Wire. That's not his actual name. Frank Sabatka is the character name, but he was in here for like 3 minutes, so I liked seeing him. He's a nice actor. He was okay in it. I wanted more of him, but I liked Denzel coming back and being like, "Yo, everyone, you remember me?" And everyone's like, "Yo, Denzel, we miss you so much, buddy. You're our best friend. Fuck Rami Malek. We gotta put up with this little piece of shit all the time. We want you back, bro." I like that. For an HBO Max movie that I didn't have to pay for, I said, this is enjoyable enough. If I had to pay for it, I would definitely be like, fuck this. But for like a matinee, I'm just watching it to watch it. It's fine. That is until the ending, which again, fucking ruins it. So, I don't know. Fuck this movie.